Mamie Tape Fights to Go to School, based on a true story. Written by Traci Huahn, illustrated by Michelle Jing Chan. Mama always said, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I never thought I could be as brave as her and Papa, each coming from China to begin new lives in America. But the day I showed up at Spring Valley Primary School, I took my own brave step. San Francisco didn't allow Chinese children in its schools. Mama and I went anyway. Though we were the only Chinese family in our neighborhood, my brother and sister and I always played with the other children, roller skating, skipping rope, finding places to hide and seek. I thought school would be the same. Before I could reach the door, the principal stopped me. Your kind is not welcome here. It felt like the ground had slipped out from under me, just like my first time roller skating. Mama said to pay no mind. We'd fight it. But I couldn't forget those words. Then I remembered. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. My journey was just beginning. Next step, we asked the school superintendent to let me in. Papa said there used to be a separate school for Chinese children in the bottom of a church basement to keep us away from white children. The school board closed it years before I was born to stop us from going to school at all, though many tried. Like a white reverend who preached to admit a Chinese boy. Some folks got so angry they threw rocks at the reverend's home, broke the windows. Or the Chinese merchants who demanded schools for thousands of Chinese children. Papa said most Americans didn't want Chinese people working here, settling down, and raising children who would need to go to school. So the answer was always no. The school superintendent told me no too. I wanted to throw rocks at his windows. Instead, we took another step. We hired 2 lawyers to fight for me. One of my lawyers told a judge the law gave me the right to go to school. I waited to hear if he'd agree. Some days, the journey really seemed 1,000 miles away. Mornings, my neighbor tutored me. I read books and practiced arithmetic or math. I didn't understand why some folks thought Chinese children couldn't be taught. Afternoons, I played with friends, reciting their schoolyard rhymes by heart. Sometimes, I imagined myself skipping rope at school. I like coffee, I like tea. I like Mamie to jump with me. 1, 2, 3. Finally, we heard. The judge agreed. But still, no school. The school board fought back. That meant another step. I waited for California's most powerful court to have the final say. It felt like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Everyone knew about my case. Newspapers plastered my name on front pages next to words like heathen, barbarian, trouble, and disaster. I wasn't sure what all those meant, just that they weren't good. If only folks who believed those stories knew me like my friends did. The year of the rooster arrived. Lanterns and spring couplets adorned Chinatown's streets. Mama rarely shopped there except to buy foods like lily buds, fat choy, and bamboo shoots. For Chinese New Year, we always cooked jai to welcome good luck. Maybe that would help me get into school. I slurped up an extra helping. The lucky jai worked. The court said I could go to school. Lawyers by my side, I walked up to the schoolhouse. The principal declared, "You must have a vaccination certificate from a doctor who's not Chinese." I felt like I'd fallen 100 steps back. Another step. We searched until we could find a white doctor willing to provide it. Next day, fingers crossed, it would be my first day of school. Without looking at my vaccination certificate, the principal scoffed. "There's no room for you here. No more than 60 pupils are allowed." Yet the classes for 8-year-olds had 62 and 70 white children. The principal said I could wait for a spot to open up. I didn't think one ever would. I felt like I'd tumbled 1,000 steps back. The school board announced they were opening a separate school for Chinese children. Again. My lawyers explained I won the right to go to school, but the school board still had the right to keep Chinese children segregated or separated. I'd have to go to that school, across town, above a grocery store, with no play yard. There were no more steps. I curled up in my favorite hide-and-seek spot, hoping I'd never be found. Papa shouted words I'd never heard. Mama vowed never to send me there. Later, I thought about all those years Chinese children couldn't go to school at all. Because of the steps I'd taken, there was now one public school where we were welcome. This time, no one could shut it down. I reminded Mama, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Maybe the journey wasn't over, and this was just one small step in the right direction. I told her and Papa I still wanted to go to school. The day the Chinese school opened, I walked up to the classroom. I was the first pupil to step through the door. The Chinese primary school opened on April 13, 1885. Mamie and her younger brother, Frank, were the first students to attend. In 1906, the school was renamed the Oriental School, and the San Francisco Board of Education issued a policy requiring all children of Chinese, Japanese, and Korean heritage to attend that school. After California outlawed or made it illegal to racially segregate schools in 1947, that policy was no longer enforced. However, it was not officially removed from the San Francisco Unified School District's policies until 70 years later, on January 24, 2017. And that's the end of our story today.